The Talksport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the Talksport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search Talksport Fan Network.
Guys, we're back, and we're back with some more cherry picking here on Up the Cherries in all departments, and we're nearly at 90 episodes. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell button, go watch all the other stuff as well that we've done. There's some great stuff over the years, but of course this is the latest one so far and the first one of the 25-26 season. If you've not noticed, this is a new away shirt. So, firstly, we've got 4 guests today. The first guest, you'll know him very, very well. He is the co-host of this channel. It is Mr. Matthew Harrison. How are you doing, Matt?
Yeah, all good, Craig. Yep. Glad that cherry picking's back. It's been quite a quiet summer without it. So, yeah, it's glad that we're back in our normal slot every week going forward. And got a great range of guests with us tonight. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Definitely. And going to the next guest along from Matt, you will recognise him from Cherry AM. He is a regular. I've driven him mad the last 2 weeks. I do apologise, but Mr. Ollie Hudson, how you doing, Ollie?
Yeah, good evening, mate. You can tell by the eyes and the voice that the work has definitely got its hooks into me recently. So, yeah, happy to be here, mate. Happy to be here, and happy to have a nice little break now between now and Monday's Cherry AM. So.
Definitely, mate. And if we go clockwise, we have got, not in Germany today, but Mr. Malcolm Chiverton. How you doing, Malcolm?
Yeah, hi, Craig. Hi, guys. Good to be here. Thanks. All good. All good.
Enjoying Blighty?
Yeah, love it, mate. Love it. Yeah. Good. Everything is spot on.
Fantastic. And already spent quite a fortune at the Dean Court store, haven't you? Sorry, I've ruined the surprise now.
That's all right. Hey, can't take it with me, can I?
I tell you what, I'm going to use that one moving forward. So I'm going to go get the home shirt tomorrow. There we are, job done. And last but not least, he is a regular now on Cherry AM. He's a regular on the shows. He is Dango Atwatara's #1 fan. It is Sean Ray. How are you doing, Sean?
Yeah, good. That's not too bad day and that. Nice and sunny at the moment anyway. And yeah, so glad football's come back because been really missing it despite the result yesterday. But yeah.
Definitely, mate. And great to have you on here. So I tell you what, if you've not watched the cherry picking, why not? But let's start with our regular announcement. Guess the cherry, or regular competition, I should say. Regular announcement. So, Matt, do you want to take it away with the Guess the Cherry clues?
No worries at all. Yep. So, obviously, Guess the Cherry is back for this season. And the first Guess the Cherry for this season, clues are as follows. Now, guys in the panel, if you do get it, please don't shout it out. We'll give you the chance to guess it at the end. But when we reveal who it is. But yeah, so the clues are: born in Poole in the year 1993. He went to Litchett Minster School. He came close to joining Portsmouth when the Cherries entered administration in 2008. The gaffer had to get permission off my school to allow me to travel with the first team. And I made 22 appearances for Bournemouth, scoring twice.
That's a tough one. I tell you what, answers in the comments. If you haven't guessed it already, don't look at the
Good
comments
one.
because all the clues will, or the right answers should be in there. But we will reveal it at the end of the show. So afterwards you can say, "Oh yeah, I was right."
I think
And you've got.
I've played football with this person a couple of times.
Oh, there we are. There's another clue there. Don't say it, Ollie. Don't say it. Keep stum. But there we are. That's Guess the Cherry. You will find out right at the very, very end. But our cherry picking, as you've seen today, of course, we missed out narrowly last season going to Europe. Of course, it would have been the Europa Conference League if we had got there. But missed out narrowly. But can we do it at the end of this season? That is the big question. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the men that might make it possible and whether or not they fit in to the plans. So let's take it away. So the first department, of course, that we want to look at is the goalkeepers and whether or not we're blessed with goalkeepers. But also who actually goes. Firstly, Ollie, Sean, we'll bring you into this one. Firstly, how impressed are you with the goalkeeping department? But secondly, who goes out of these goalkeepers?
I'd say really impressed with the goalkeeper department. It's funny, we've got really one for now, one for the past, and one for the two for the future. So we got a nice variety there. Obviously, Neto, he's probably going to be a starter because of the wages and that, but hopefully Alex gets his chance in that, and then Will, Tamini's goal, championship, stuff like that, to get given a chance to properly get first team regular experience. But yeah, we're certainly set up for the future there.
Ollie, who do you think goes and where do they go?
So I agree. I think if any of those four are going to go, it's going to be Dennis, right? I think Sean's right. A loan period out to a championship side would be spot on. Trying to get more minutes in the first team squad would be ideal for him. I think us being in a position where we've got Petrovic, Neto, and Poulsen battling off for a goalkeeper position, I think is a super, super healthy place to be. Especially considering I'm not sure how Poulsen will be able to prove his worth getting into the first team over Neto and Petrovic with the games that are coming up. I don't know if he'll get his chance. So I do think it'll be Neto and Petrovic moving forward. I reckon that'll be rotated. As Sean said, Neto is overpaid technically at the moment for the position that he's in compared to the other players in his position. So it'll be interesting to see the dynamic of how that plays out and how tough that position will be for them to battle over. That'll be good to watch.
Yeah, it'll be good for Poulsen to get a good season. Like Will Dennis had a good season with us to get used to our system, because I don't know exactly what system Poulsen done in the Australian league and that, but yeah, a good season under Andoni will be good for him, I reckon.
For the eagle-eyed of you, you'll notice the Neto goalkeeping shirt there is from a couple of years back. Of course, the Dapperbet logo gives that away. But guys, do you think it is impossible to shift him considering the amount that he is on per week? And what do we do? Do we let him go out on loan to a big club? Can we even let him go out on loan? Because, to be honest, he didn't play very much for Arsenal. I think it was one cup game, if I'm right in thinking.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't think he had the greatest of performances. So, with Neto, is he shiftable?
I'll say, first of all, he's happy to be second choice. That certainly makes it easier to loan or sell another player if they're willing to be more flexible. I don't know how he really got the Arsenal gig in the first place, to be fair. So it's possible that he could get something, but I don't understand how he could get something. But yeah, being second choice and happy with that, and he got the Arsenal gig, yeah, there's potential there, and hopefully we'll get that sell on or something. But I just don't see where it's going to come from.
Mm-hmm.
No, completely agreed. Completely agreed. I think he's got another 2 years on his contract with us, so it's either going to be an expensive 2 years with us, or I can't see any other club trying to pick him out of our squad and put them into theirs. I just can't see it. So either he's going to have to perform super well and stay number one goalkeeper for AFC Bournemouth, or Petrovic is going to come in and eventually Neto will slowly slide out. But I think for now, we're going to be using Neto with Petrovic as a backup.
Interesting. I'll go around the room. Who do we start with this season? I know who I'm going to start with, and I'm going to go with Petrovic. Matt.
Petrovic.
Ollie.
Yeah, also Petrovic.
Malcolm.
Yeah, definitely. No brainer.
And Sean.
Yeah, Petrovic. Though I would point out that Neto suddenly has played more minutes in the pre-season than I was expecting. So
I think it's very possible then, he could well be playing second fiddle rather than Paulson, who a lot of people, I'm sure, would like to see, it get the number one jersey eventually. But I tell you what, let's go on to the defence. And let's talk about this new man. And Malcolm, Adrian Treffer is replacing Milos Kerkez. Milos Kerkez, fantastic player, fantastic left back. We are blessed with two very good left backs, but is he an adequate replacement, or is he potentially even better?
Malcolm, after you.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Potentially better than Kerkez. He's on par with him.
Mm-hmm.
He can do everything that Kerkez did in his second season at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
There's enough evidence already to show what he's about. Defensively, sound tackler, pacey, goes forward, reads the game well, wants the ball. With his, it's not every player's way of playing, to continually ask for the ball. But if you watch him in the Everton game there, he was always wanting it. I think he will be our next, I want to say he's going to be the next big one that all the clubs are going to be looking at. That's how highly I rate him.
Wow.
And if I'm wrong, then okay, so be it. But I mean, you got to judge him over a full season, obviously. So, but the potential, I think he's gonna leave Kerkez standing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a case of for me, like it says here, does he carry on from where Kirk has left off? And I think he does. And like Malcolm said, he's got all the same attributes as Kirk has. Now, if you look at him and you look back at his career, obviously I did a video when he first signed, comparing him to Kirkez. And I felt that he's got the same attributes as Kerkez, but I think he's more experienced than Kerkez, even though I think he's only 22. Is he 22, maybe 20? He's also made captain of his club at a younger age as well. He's been captain of his club for the last couple of years. So I think experience-wise, I think he's more experienced than Kerkez. He's obviously got leadership skills as well, which I don't think maybe Kerkez has that as part of his game. But last night against United, he came on as a sub, linked up beautifully with Brooksy down that left flank. The Everton game, I was very impressed with him. I think we could see a bit more from him, in all honesty. I don't think we saw the full potential of him in that Everton game, but it wasn't a bad start for him. But I just think he will literally slot straight into that back four, pick up from where Kirk has left off, and he's going to be a really, really good signing for us. I think he's a really, really good coup.
Yeah, agreed on that.
Of course, Julio Soler. is also rated so highly as a left back, and to be honest, to have one good left back, is a big thing for a football club at this level. To have two is even massive. So Julio Soler, is an outstanding talent. I guess the question to both of you is, do you feel having that quality is going to push Adrian Traffair on further, or do you feel that we do have to bring in Julio Soler, of course, highly rated? We had Alejo Rivera on here talking about him when he signed. Do you feel that we have to integrate Julio Soler, quite a bit to make sure that he's happy and, doesn't ask for a way out of Dean Court?
Yeah, now I think it's great, really, from the team perspective to have two really good left backs. Now I thought Soler had a fairly decent game last night, but I think Adrian, he's a true professional. He's going to be looking over his shoulder, knowing full well that Soler is going to be behind him, pushing him, which is obviously only going to improve him as a player, keep him on his toes. But I think what is quite vital this season for Soler is that we use him as much as we can. I think this guy is going to be first starter, first name on the team sheet for the left back role. I think that's a no-brainer. But I think for Soler's development, it's quite important that we give him as much game time as possible. So definitely all the cup games, for example. He'd be straight in there for me. Just to keep him fresh, keep him getting his game time under his belt. He's not really in a position where we can loan him out, I don't think, because of cover. But yeah, I think in fairness to Soler, we need to give him minutes. But this guy is first on the team sheet.
Totally agree with you. I think Soler will also. I think Andoni will give Soler the minutes anyway, even in league games, even if it's only like maybe the last 10 minutes or something. Then why not? And I go along there with the cup games. I think he'll be put in as first choice, which makes sense, and use Traffair as the backup. So we're very well blessed, really. And if push comes to shove, we can always put Dango there, can't we? So no big worries.
That is true as well. Yeah,
it's always going to be a challenge when you've got quality players. Every quality player wants to be a starter and stuff like that. It's finding that balancing act at any club, at any position. It's always going to be the way. It's
going to be healthy competition. There we are.
That's the way I see it. What a lovely problem to be in.
Absolutely.
A concern before from some people. What a lovely position to be in now. What a lovely problem to have.
Yeah.
100%. Like I say, one left back is a blessing. Two great left backs is really positive. So kudos to Simon Francis and Thiago Pinto as well for that. But let's talk about a man who has kind of been forgotten about a little bit by some Cherries fans. But is it time for Chris Metham to move on, or does he stay as a squad player? And I'd just like to go around the room. Do you think that his time at AFC Bournemouth is up? He is still quite a young player. He still probably hasn't hit the peak. So do we keep hold of Metham? Who wants to go first?
Yeah,
go on, John.
With him, for me, I'd love to keep him around and that. But the fact is, he's behind Hill, behind Zabs, behind Senesi. For me, he's probably 4th, 5th choice player at his level and stage of career. I doubt he would be happy with 4th, 5th choice. But if he was happy with that, I would love to keep him around. But I don't think he'll be too happy about that. So probably have to be sold or loaned.
Malcolm, you're up next. Do we keep him?
Well, I would have him as a squad player, definitely. And once again, there's no reason why you can't use him in cup games. Give him some minutes there, which is very easy to do. Obviously, with the possibility that somebody could get injured, you would need a replacement at some point, even if it's just a replacement on the bench. So It would be sad to see him go, to be honest with you, even if it's only a loan thing. But I'd rather keep him as a squad player. As long as we have enough depth in our squad, because that's what we need for this coming season. So that's just my take on it.
Ollie, far away.
It's an interesting one for me, but I back some of and echo some of the words that Sean said. Just I can't say as a squad player. You know, we've got this vision to be in a certain position and a certain place for the squad in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and Metham's not in it. That's as much as it boils down to. Unfortunately, he doesn't fit in the pace of the squad. He doesn't fit in the vision that we're building. He doesn't fit for the recruitment. He doesn't fit for the depth of the squad. Nothing, unfortunately for him, keeps him at the squad for me.
Fair comment.
Matt, far away. What do you reckon?
Just to quickly round this one off then. I kind of echo a little bit from everybody there. I do see where Ollie's coming from. Does he fit the picture of the future? And I see where Malcolm's coming from as a squad player. But let's look at it from the player's perspective. Now, he's an international footballer. He's got a World Cup possibly coming up next year.
Yep.
He's going to need minutes. So if we look at it from the player's point of view, rather than maybe the squad and the club, he's going to need to be playing. So whether that's at Bournemouth, which I can't see it's going to be, he's going to need minutes somewhere. So I think, he'd be a great squad player for us. I think he would, be great for backup. But, is it time for him to move on? I think for his career, it probably is.
So, Joe, well, I think Chris Metham would suit down to the absolute ground, Ipswich. The team that Ipswich played last season with, I think Meps would fall into that squad easily. And I think it would be a great fit for him. I think he'd get full minutes, first team in the squad. I think he'd get everything he'd want at a club like Ipswich. And I think that'd be brilliant for him.
I'm going to put another spin on this, and I think, it's good to have Chris Metham around, if he wants to stay around. That's the big question for me. I think that he might want the move, because let's take, a West Ham team managed under Harry Redknapp. For every Julian Dix and Ian Pearce and all those great defenders that they had back then, you had a Thomas Repka. And, Thomas Repka was not a bad defender. He was capable when he come in. Chris Metham is that sort of player for us. He is capable when he comes in. But is he really the future? Is he going to really excel this club on? And it's probably a no for me. However, he is a uber professional, and if he does go, I wish him the very best, and I think he'll do a great job wherever he goes to. But I think in a way, we probably need that little bit of cover, who can go out on loan from time to time and also step in and be adequate enough.
Yeah, I was just thinking that out of all the positions, midfield, forward, all that kind of stuff, at the moment, though, obviously they're trying to get another defender in, defense is probably our weakest cover position. So if we didn't get another player in, definitely worth keeping hold of. Would need him really for that, but it all depends what we do in the transfer window.
Fair enough, guys. Fair enough. So there we are. That's our thoughts on Chris Metham. But let's go on to a defender who is thought has a great future ahead of him. Of course, we have had his agent, Cecil G. Thomas, on several times onto this show. James Hill, is he about to make a place his own? Has he got the big season ahead? And Sean, Ollie, Malcolm, I tell you what, Malcolm, you talk to me about James Hill first. What you think of him?
Love the guy. Is he going to be the next big surprise package? I mean, I said that Trafford for me would be the top man, but this young lad, he could run him a very close second, I think. Superb. I would really like to see him be in the starting 11. Yeah. Can't say Can't say enough good about him. There we are. Top man.
Sean, whenever he's come into the starting 11, James Hill hasn't really disappointed at all, has he?
No, it's been pretty much perfect. I say, so Malcolm says, he's absolutely brilliant. You can see the ball, you can see passes, he's not afraid to get dirty and stuff. And yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. I mean, there's a few stars I think are going to kind of break out this season and that, but I put him down as a surprise breakout because obviously not other football fans may know him too well and that. So that's why I put him as, I think he'll be the surprise breakout star of the season, to be honest.
And Ollie, of course, Ilya Zabanier is thought to be wanting to go to PSG. Does this man get the place, or will, and I've seen a lot of fans actually talking on X especially, how they want to bring in a replacement if Zabanier goes. Do we just entrust James Hill to make that step up behind, in the place of a player who has been one of the best central defenders, to be fair, that's ever played for this football club?
Yeah, James Hill's a bloody good defender, in my opinion. Really, really good defender. Technically, he's solid. He understands how the back line should work. He's brilliant in the air. His effort to getting on first touch and second touch is second to none. You saw that in the Everton game. He's a solid defender. I think he's proven that. And I think, the likes of Pinto and Iriola, and when they're looking at roles like this, I don't think they'd panic recruit. I don't think they would. I think what they'd fall through with how AFC Bournemouth are doing things now. They'd continue to follow the path, and they would recruit from within in this position, I believe. And James Hill's earned that spot. He's earned that right, and kudos to him. Like, absolute kudos to him. He's an exciting player this season to watch.
100%. So James Hill, we all think will make his mark in the first team, and hopefully, if Zabania does choose to go, we won't be looking for a replacement because we've got our replacement already here, who is capable of making that step up. So let's see how that all pans out. But I'm a big fan of James Hill, and I think he can go far. But let's talk about a man that, and of course the midfielders. Let's go to them first. We'll touch on a man in the midfield in a second. When they're all fully fit, which two do you pick of Lewis Cook, Scott, Christie, and Tyler Adams? And Matt and Ollie, take it away, Matt. Who would you go for?
What a great, and I've said this before, what a great option to have in front of you, having these four players. Scott, in my opinion, I rate probably more forward, but can do a job in that role. Christie, I mean, he was just that engine for us last season, in that position. Obviously, when he, finally went under the knife, we missed him. We really missed him. We missed his intensity there. Tyler Adams, was always very unsure of Tyler because obviously we didn't really see a lot of him before last season. And now he's come in and you can see he's a natural leader. He's great in the tackle, really good in the tackle. That's whether he's standing tackle, whether he has to put a sliding tackle in. He's great in the tackle. And he's not bad at distributing the ball either. And then there's Lewis Cook, who I am a real fan of. I love Lewis Cook. I think, if it wasn't for the injuries that he has sustained over, several years, then I think maybe he possibly would have, had more England caps, in fairness. And I think last season, I think probably last season was probably his best in a Cherry shirt, in fairness. I know he did have some criticism last season. But yeah, for me, four players that when all fit is very, very difficult to pick your starting two, because great for rotation if all fit, fantastic for that. Obviously, you know, we see a lot more rotation these days. But I mean, for the first game of the season, I mean, if I was having to pick two here for the first game of the season, I know obviously Lewis Cook's injured and would be suspended anyway. So if I was to count Lewis out on this occasion, for me it's got to be Christie if he's fit and Tyler Adams, and I think that possibly for me would possibly edge as my starting two for the season, as my main two midfielders. I love Lewis Cook. I really love Lewis Cook.
Yeah.
But when you look and you weigh up the options of the other three, for me, Christie is just the engine. The absolute engine has to be in there. And, you know, I was really impressed with Tyler Adams last season. So I think for me, and like I say, you know, I've thought about this question all day, to be fair. And I've gone Christie Cook, Christie Adams, Christie Cook, Christie Adams. But I think, yeah, for me, it's got to be Christie and Adams that would start against Liverpool.
Ollie, is it really, though, one place that three players are fighting over? Because Ryan Christie, I know that probably he is, you know, for opposition fans, say for example, let's take an Everton fan probably doesn't think, you know, if you said name one Bournemouth player, they're probably not going to go for Ryan Christie all day long. But Ryan Christie is such an important player and is pivotal for us, you know, and let's be fair, when he hasn't played, we haven't played to the standard that we have when he has. Is it really three players for one position, or do you think Christie is movable?
Yes and no. So I want to give a little bit of a rundown similar to how Matt just did. Because again, this is why I absolutely love being a part of this show. Is my thought process on it is slightly different, but similar in how we'd start the pitch. So for me, it'd be Christie and Cook. So I completely agree where the Christie and Adams is coming from. Scott, again, completely agree with everything you just said, Matt. I don't think he's in that decision. I don't think he's a player to be eliminating from that thing. He's not even in it. He's not even in the ballpark for those three positions, right? He's more up front. He's more attacking focused, more final third, and this is where for me it comes down to Cook and Christie. Now, Cook for me has got the experience being on an AFCB pitch, right? He is a Bournemouth player through and through. Has been for a long time. He understands how the team works. He understands how to create that leadership, as you said, that Tyler Adams also has. However, the difference that I see here is we should be starting our games with the same momentum, the same energy, the same pace, ideally the same tactical strategy that we carry into most games, right? We want a winning strategy.
Yeah.
And for me, that winning strategy is to have Cook and Christie starting off the games. Adams is, in my mind, you're spot on. With standing tackles and sliding tackles, he is tactically and defensively aggressive. And I think that's perfect for positions that Bournemouth get themselves in at 45 minutes, at 60 minutes, you know, into these difficult times that we know we walk ourselves into often. And I think Adams is the kind of player that gets us out of those positions. He's the player that comes in, creates a bit of anger, a bit of upset, a bit of energy, a bit of chaos in the final third. I think that's where Adams comes in. So for me, I'd start my strongest 11 being Cook and Christie.
Excellent. Well, I tell you what, let's talk about a man who I was completely and utterly shocked. I thought Ollie, when he messaged me early hours of the morning, I thought either, you know, he's gone stark raving bonkers or he's drunk when he said that Philip Billing was captain of the side. Is Philip Billing, though, key to being successful next season, or is he surplus to requirements? Ollie, Matt, let's stick with you two on this. What did you make of him last night against Manchester United? Of course, you know, I still don't know how to actually explain it. This morning, last night, I don't really know. You'll be watching it on the Friday, of course. So yes, of course, when we recorded this, it was of early hours of the morning. But Ollie, what did
Matt,
you make of him?
I was going to say, yeah, if you don't mind, I'd love to jump in here.
You go on.
The dynamic of last night's game was utterly different to the dynamic of the game against Everton. Entirely, the vibe felt off, the energy felt off, the squad felt off. It wasn't linking in the first half. There wasn't the energy to get to the first and second ball. There wasn't the shouts to beat their teammates. There wasn't the first up for the headers. We were not the same squad that came out against Everton as we were last night. Now, I don't want to entirely correlate that back to Phil Bill being captain, but what we can't do as a squad, we can't look at what happened in the Everton game. Phil Bill coming back with this big presence and this different hair, so he's easily spotted on the pitch, and he makes this instant appearance, which no one knew or could have expected was going to happen. Pings his right foot, and he scores. And all of a sudden, the next game, he's captain. I don't know what the thought process is behind that. For me, he doesn't fit in the squad. Even though he might be proving himself, even though he might be getting better, even though Napoli may have been best for him, and he's got that experience now, he's better coming back. Just doesn't fit in the squad for me still. He's the same as Chris Methven in my mind. Exactly the same. We've come past the likes of Meps, Phil Bill, Callum Wilson. We're past that era now. We're past it. So we can't be looking back at players like this, in my opinion.
Matt, on this, we've said this before. We've been told it before that not Chris Betham, Phil Billing is a confidence player. When his confidence is up, he plays well. When his confidence is low, he doesn't play well. And I did refer to, and I've referred to it several times beforehand as well, that Leicester City game, a couple of years back, he come on, he looked like he was treading water completely. He looked like he was struggling, looked like he was disinterested. Something clicks, he scores a goal, and then all of a sudden, he's a totally different player. Is he, and I hate to say this, is he a little bit of a luxury we can't have at this moment in time?
Do you know what? That might be the best way to describe it, actually. But then Ollie's kind of hit the nail on the head by saying, the way he came out against Everton, it was like a new signing. But exactly. For me, that was a player being played in his right position, in his strongest position. I think when you play him deeper, I just like last night, where the whole side, in fairness, were, like Ollie said, they were off the ball. But, that's not, for me, his best position. And, playing him in that forward role, that kind of number 10 role in behind the front man, for me, I think is his strongest position. But look at the competition he's got here. I mean, are you going to start Phil Bill ahead of Justin Kluivert in that role? You're just not. You're not. It's simple. It's simple. And then even if Kluivert's not available, you're going to put a Tav there or a Semenyo there. You could even probably put Dango there ahead of Phil Bill. So yeah, I agree with Ollie. I think maybe, that era has passed. And obviously with the names that, Ollie's mentioned there, the likes of, Callum Wilson and the other couple of names Ollie mentioned there, that is a sort of bygone era now. And again, last season he was obviously frustrated. I can understand that. Being a pro, you want to play. You don't want to be sat on the bench. You don't want to be not included in the matchday squads. You want to be involved as much as possible. And he went out on loan. I don't think he played that many games at Napoli, did he? I don't think he made...
No, not many at all.
Made enough, I think, for a medal.
3, I think.
Was it 3, was it? So,
yeah.
I think, career-wise, again, I also like to look at it from the player's perspective as well as the club's. I think if I was Phil Bill, it would be a case of, wanting to listen to your options, really, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, but both. And to be honest, in my honest opinion, if Philip Billing was to stay at AFC Bournemouth, he would be holding his own career back. Whereas, we are trying to get to that next level. We're trying to make that next step into Europe. And I think the club have moved on, like Ollie says, from that type of player. When you look at say, for example, Wolves. Wolves aren't expected to be challenging for Europe this year. Maybe Philip Billing might be the sort of player that Wolves might want. He's proven Premier League quality, but is he going to really pull up any trees? Not really. Not
Well,
really.
that's Sunderland.
But I tell you what, let's talk about one man who is pulling up trees. And Malcolm, is Croupy our new secret weapon? I know that you like this guy.
Wouldn't it be nice to see him playing? First of all,
Yes.
That's the unfortunate thing, is we haven't had the opportunity to see him. But I'm going on what, how he performed for Lorient last season, and it just got better and better as time went on for him. It was a very, very clever move to sign him and then loan him straight back. So it didn't ruffle a lot of feathers, really, to be honest with you. And he took the opportunity with both hands. Superb. Lorient got promoted as well, which, that says it all, really. Perhaps they will be very, very disappointed to see him come back across the channel to us. I just want to see him start a game and really show what he's capable of doing. The question is, how would the starting lineup look? Would he be a replacement for Evan Nielsen? Would he play up maybe just behind Evan Nielsen? Would he play him wide? There are just so many possibilities. I just really don't know where they will play him, but I'm just so excited to see this young lad.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
11. It's going to be a very interesting start, to be honest with you. And it's not just him. I mean, he is, for me, he is the exciting player that Bournemouth need. But there's others knocking on the door as well, as we'll come on to those as well. But this guy is the one that is really sort of, I've taken notice and thinking, crikey, what he did last season. Come on, let's have him. Let's get him in that starting 11 and show what he can do.
Yes, I know it's only a few pre-season games and that, but Evan Nielsen hasn't really played very well from my perspective in pre-season and that, so he's certainly making it an open door for Croupy to get a chance. So I say Evan Nielsen we thought would be number one starter or our second thought, really, and yeah, I think Croupy is certainly going to come into the question mark now whether he starts.
There has been comparisons to a certain other Frenchman, of course, Kylian Mbappe. I know he might be a way off Kylian Mbappe, but how could he be Bournemouth's version and really tear up the Premier League? Malcolm, just dip into that.
Well, I mean, I've heard you mention this a few times, Craig, and I don't buy it. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. How you need the proof, don't you? To actually come out with a statement, you've got to be able to back it up. And I haven't seen anything yet to back it up. So that's why I say take it with a pinch of salt. Let's see him have some starts in a Bournemouth shirt and see what he can actually do. Yeah. And then we can make a judgment. And I'm not talking about pre-season, just a few minutes here and there. Yeah. Okay, he's got a knock or whatever. But when he's fit, give him an opportunity and see if he can take it with both hands. And then we can discuss that at a later date.
Well, no pressure, Ellie, if you're watching. He probably isn't, but, Ellie, if you are watching, Kylian Mbappe is your target. There we are. But I tell you what, let me talk about one man that I absolutely love. And, of course...
And just very quickly, before you do...
Yes.
Okay. You literally have 2 minutes starting now.
Antoine Semenyo, what can I say about him? The strength, the quality, the speed, cuts in the inside, can play on both flanks. He is a great deliverer of the ball. He's consistent. He hits the target a lot of the time. Maybe needs to score a little bit more, few more goals, as Sean has made out and explained, when compared to Dango Ouattara. But what a player he is. He works tirelessly. He can get back. He can get forward very, very quickly. The man is an absolute legend. He can play through the centre. He can play up front. He can do everything. He can probably walk on water as well. Am I in the 2 minutes, Matt?
Way within the 2 minutes.
Yeah,
now
you got
about 1 minute and 10 seconds to answer the question. Does he need to be more consistent to help Bournemouth reach Europe?
To be honest, I got through quite a lot in that.
You did,
seconds,
but you were just
I?
talking. You were just bigging him up. But the question is, does he need to be more consistent and help Bournemouth reach Europe?
Yeah, based on what me and Sean spoke about previously, yes, I think he probably does. I think he needs to hit, the back of the net a little bit more. His stats are fantastic. He gets himself in the good positions. He creates the good positions for himself as well. So, yeah, he probably does need to be a little bit more consistent towards the end of the season. He did tail off a little bit. At the start of the season, he was really, really strong. But look at his goal against Arsenal, what he did, when he come on off the bench. That was all a creation of himself. So, yeah, Antoine Semenyo, he's great, in bursts. He's a great player, but consistency is going to help us to bridge that gap, but I am absolutely delighted he's still here.
Quick question, Craig. So far, pre-season, I've got to say it. Who's done better so far in pre-season, Dango or Semenyo?
I knew you was going to ask me that.
I couldn't resist.
Question.
I've got to be honest, Dango's probably done better. He looks fitter. He looks like he's coming back all guns blazing. I did question towards the end of the season, didn't I, Matt, whether or not Antoine had an injury. Has that still prolonged?
I don't think he did. I think
is he still fatigued? Does he need a bit of a rest? Do we now say, right, we've got to rest Semenyo before that game at Anfield?
Do you guys follow Semenyo on socials?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
It looks like he's well rested. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
it looks like his schedule is utterly training, rest, good meals, good restaurants, waking up, training, rest. It looks like he's in the peak of his life.
Yeah.
If he had any knocks, I'll be surprised with how much he's played really in pre-season. I don't think Andoni would risk him if he had any kind of knock anyway.
But consistency is something that, has always... And I remember saying to Mark McAdam when he first signed, I was like, I'm not sure about this signing. He blows hot and cold for Bristol City. And yeah, he's come on leaps and bounds. He has got a lot stronger. He's become a lot faster. He's become a lot more knowledgeable about the game. Maybe he's always struggling with that consistency side of things. And maybe it's consistency on a different level now compared to what he was at Bristol City. Maybe that's what was seen in him by Frano and, of course, Richard Hughes at the time. So, maybe it was a case of, right, okay, this man could make the step up if we can move him from a player that's probably a 6 to an 8. I think he now needs to really become a 9. And like Sean said in our video, go watch it as well after this, with regards to comparing him against Dango, somebody who has had a lot of criticism from certain members of the Bournemouth faithful. Dango has got more consistency on his side. Although sometimes I do think that he's still a player that does 9 things where you're thinking, what is he trying to do? And then does one thing that's spectacular that nobody else on the team can do.
Semenyo certainly got challenged because I put Semenyo as a starter, and I'm really questioning with whether Brooks should be over Semenyo because Brooks in pre-season I think has done quite well as well. So yeah, certainly good challenging there for those positions.
It's a nice problem to have.
I think watch this space with Semenyo. I hate to say it, Sean, but I think that we're going to see Semenyo come out a little bit this season and
he's got that potential.
Overshadow Dango a little bit, possibly. And I think that Semenyo, you've hit the nail on the head there, Craig. I come from Bristol. He was at a 6. We've got him to an 8. He's developing. He's getting there. He's getting better and better and better and better. He's looking healthier. He's looking fitter. Everything about him, I think, is looking better for this season.
As I said, he's got higher ceiling than Dango. I say, you know, I'm not one Dango fan, but I still think Nuno has a higher ceiling than Dango. But it's getting that consistency in goals.
And I just think also with like what you've said there, Ollie and Craig, you know, with him becoming a 6 to an 8, you know, as he's improving, the consistency will come as well, I think. So, I agree. I think this season he's going to hit the ground running. And I think he's going to improve on even more than what we saw last season and the season before. So exciting, I think. And I'd just like to congratulate Craig on, you know, keeping that short, sweet. It's still Thursday currently. And it's not the start of the 2028-29 season. So anyway, well done, Craig.
No, we haven't got the new stadium built yet.
No. And to be honest, Matt's shirt collection hasn't expanded by a lot more.
That is very true. Yeah.
Can you imagine if you see, you know, we could do a stream, you know, that is about 4 years, and you just see the shirt collection just building up, and you just see Matt come in every now and again with a new shirt. That'd be I'll tell you what, that'd be a funny webcam. But I'll tell you what, let's talk about the future. We've talked about the future there, but let's talk about the future players. To make Europe, is it time to put more faith in our youngsters? Trust the talent. So, Matt, Malcolm, Sean, I am just going to leave this one to you to fight it out. Far away.
Well, I'll say I ain't got too much to say there. I thought, please get the names right. Winterburn was he the one playing the Everton game?
Yes.
So Winterburn?
Yes.
I said I think he's got a brilliant future ahead. I see him very much as a Christie style player, harassing the players, chasing them down, and all that. And I think he would have been very useful against Man United. As said, when we played Man United, we didn't have that energy, and I think that was our biggest downfall. We didn't seem to have that drive, and as I see him as a Christie, and that's why I see Christie so good at doing. And then obviously our development strike and that. I say he done the classic poacher goal when he came on in Everton. So he done what he's being trained for, like Evan Nelson and that. And then the one begins with D. He had that beautiful strike. He was unlucky to not get a goal. But when we've had a lot of injuries and that, I think the development and youth and that, they stepped up brilliant. And it really has shown that we've got a really bright future. If not with us, which I'm sure, I say, last season they started playing with us a bit and that, will certainly make some money as well for the club. So either way, I think the youth side and development side is suddenly looking bright, and obviously us getting Category 1 standard, hopefully the end of the end of this year, whenever it would be done. It's a very bright future for us.
Malcolm, what else have you got to add to that? And also, let's talk about the academy as well and how important that's going to be.
Very important indeed. You know, if you look down the pathway, you know, from the youngsters, and then you take it up stage by stage, step by step. Wonderful, and to have so many of them come in last season, sitting on the bench because of, you know, the injury crisis we had. They can only learn from it. The experience around the first team, going on the bus or whatever, on the away trips and everything, and living how a first team player lives. Okay, they won't get all the minutes that they want, but the opportunities are being made now for these youngsters. And that is actually something Andoni wants to do. He wants to bring our own youngsters straight into the starting 11 or on the bench to give them the time on the pitch, and show what they can do and show that they can learn it. So that should be really, really good.
We were talking a bit there, Matt, about long-term future, and the key thing for me is making sure that players want to come to AFC Bournemouth rather than going to Southampton, rather than going to Brighton, Chelsea, Reading, Arsenal, Spurs, wherever. You know, the key is to get the players here, but the players that are already currently here, Do you feel that they're going to be able to have much of an impact, considering our buying power and also the levels you have to be at to make it in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think for me, why can't the youngsters we've got there make an impact in this squad? Like the question here, is it time to give, put more faith in the youngsters? And I think the guy here, pictured here, is a prime example of that. He is he scored bag loads of goals last season, didn't he, Malcolm? In the
Yep.
He's been out on loan to Carlisle, I think, as well. So he's had league experience. And then, he came on, obviously, against Everton. Yeah, people will say, it was a fault of the defence. But the fact is he latched onto that ball and he scored the goal. I think if we were to make, a real serious challenge for Europe, I think, we would have to see players like, and Malcolm, please pronounce the name for me.
Adouajayi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's the talent, he's the future, and I think if we can use these players a bit more as well, and their talents, I think it's only good to help our cause and also to help with rotation and help with obviously there's all the whole. I know we don't have Europe, but everyone talks about game time and how much games players are playing, this, that, and the other. So I think if we can rotate the talent and of the youngsters and use more of them, and I think it would possibly help our quest for Europe. And like it says there, trust the talent. Trust the talent.
Just out of interest, I imagine all of you are on the same thought process that you are wanting to push for Europe this season.
Oh, 100%.
Is that the general thought process here?
The question is, which we're going to ask, I think it's the next question actually.
Sorry.
Is can we compete? Not can we qualify, but can we compete for Europe? That's the question. Can we compete for it?
I just want to throw something in about this player as well that I saw on X earlier on. And somebody was whinging with regards to his time at Carlisle, where he did score a bag full of goals. But, of course, Carlisle were relegated out of the Football League. The fact that he scored a bag full of goals, Malcolm, I'll throw this to you first, scored a bag full of goals at a team that were creating next to nothing, and he was having to create things himself. Isn't that more of an achievement?
Well, obviously, he's showcasing what his capabilities are, isn't he? So, he can only go out and give it its all, and show what he's about. And to be honest with you, it's great that he's come back. He's part of our squad now. He's gained some experience by going away. That's what players do. So trust the process, Craig. He's the future.
Oh, honestly, I do trust the process, Malcolm, because I honestly think that the fact that he's gone to a team, yes, they've been relegated out of the Football League, but because he's gone to a team where he wasn't getting the service which he will do at AFC Bournemouth, is better than actually going to a team where he's going to get a hatful of opportunities. He's going to get a hatful of opportunities here, and how good is he going to be considering he's done that in a team that, let's be honest, we're on their backside all season, Matt.
Yeah. He just needs the opportunity, I think, and let's see what he can do. Right.
Hold right there. We will predict whether or not we can get into Europe this season in just a moment. But here's a shout out to our two sponsors. Firstly, Touchpoint Telecoms, touchpointtelecoms.co.uk for all your business telecoms needs, from Reading to Bristol, from Bournemouth to Swindon, from Frome to Timbuktu. Contact Mark and the team at touchpointtelecoms.co.uk and he will help you get the best telecoms lines for your business. And also, if you need your teeth done, the best place to go is Dental on the Banks. AFC Bournemouth players get their teeth done there. And here's a little bit about them now. Spot some Bournemouth players.
I should be like you, Mel.
So there we are. That is Dental on the Banks. Visit dentalonthebanks.co.uk. I'll tell you what, let's get back to the show. And Sean, what would you add to this?
The only thing I'd say is any player you send out on loan, you really want them to, well, if they go in a struggling team, but still to perform brilliant, then that's what you would always love. It's like for Will Dennis. I say I want him to go into the top half championship team, but if he went into a bottom half championship team and they do really well, it would look really good for him. So, yeah, you would always like them to go into a struggling team and look brilliant, because then you know they can do it when it's hard, and then they should be able to do it when it's easy.
Yeah,
it's all part of the education, isn't it? So I think going to clubs like that and performing well, it just gives you the education of being in the first team, doesn't it?
Well, I tell you what, let's throw out the final question. So from South Coast to San Siro, can AFC Bournemouth compete for Europe in 2025-26? Who wants to go first? Go for it, Ollie.
Unpopular opinion incoming, as often seems to be the case at the moment.
Go on.
No.
Explain.
No is my answer. I don't think we should. Firstly, I don't think we should be trying to compete for Europe yet. I think, again, if we bring it back to the plan of Bournemouth, the vision that Bournemouth are trying to do, why run before we can walk? Why skip getting to Category 1 and going straight to Europe before we have our development in order? Why? Look, there's hundreds and hundreds of reasons that I could argue as to why we shouldn't push for Europe this season. But even if that's the case, I think it would be tough to compete for it anyway at the moment. But I don't think we should be pushing for it.
Sean.
Yeah, I would say I've put us down as 8th for the end of the season, and I think that's mainly down to me believing in the recruitment team. If we had no basic injuries now, or extremely few, and we've got quite a few already, and that, then I think we've got a squad that could do Europe and that. But the issue is, especially as Bournemouth fans, we know we get injuries quite easily, and yeah, I think that's the only thing that I would say would stop us getting Europe is the injuries. So yeah, I believe in the recruitment team. I believe that we'll get more players in, another defender and that. I think that's our weakest position of that. If we can do that, we can compete. But if we don't get any more players in with our injuries, not so much for me. So yeah, depends on how much you believe in the team, well, recruitment and stuff.
Fair enough. Matt, can we compete?
Yeah, I mean, it's competing. Will we get Europe? No, I don't think we will. Are we ready for Europe? There's arguments for and against. But if we were to finish, I don't know, 12th next season, people would see that as a stepping back.
Yeah.
Going backwards. Since Iriola's coming, we have moved forward. We moved forward on the previous season in his first season. We've moved on again last season. So I'd imagine, in terms of the question being compete, do we expect a similar season to last year? And I would expect that really as minimum. We should be in and around sort of 10th, 9th, 8th kind of place come the end of the season. So the project, the vision is still on target. Obviously, there's a 5-year vision. So, yeah, I think we could compete similar to we did last year. If we make it, great. It's like last year, Craig, my feet were very firmly on the ground. Let's not get carried away. And I won't get carried away again next season. But, if we were to finish, like I say, 12th or 13th next season, people will see that as a step back and not continuing the progress. So, yeah, I know there's, like Sean's just touched on, gaps within the defence, and there's still the transfer window open. There's still all the rumours about Zaba. I've seen something about Spurs being interested in him again today. Yeah. So, some people have got to be brought in, but look at the recruitment that's happened over the last several years. It's been excellent. So, we just got to trust, that we will bring the players in. There's obviously targets there. Bournemouth very, very shrewd on their transfer. They don't tend to like to talk much about it. They don't ever speculate on things. It's a case of when the deal's done, the deal's done. So I've got all trust in the recruitment. I'm pretty certain everything will be ready, by the end of the transfer window. And, I expect us to kind of finish in and in the regions of, 10th, 9th, 8th. I think in the tier list, I think we put ourselves 8th, was it? I think. Which for me, yeah, you may not necessarily get a European place in that position, but I would still call that competing and being up there for it.
If that's what you'd say is competing, I completely agree with you. I would say you're absolutely right in what you're saying. I don't think that we're going to get Europe, but
yeah,
I
totally agree.
I definitely 100% think we're between 7th and 10th. No doubt in my mind.
If we did get 12th, would you guys say that's a step back then?
No,
Yes.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. In my opinion, there's one more season before we are where we should be. So for me, it is going to take some trials and eliminations, some forward stepping, some back stepping to get to that. And I think this is the last season before we're at our perfect AFCB.
The reason why I said step back is because, there's going to be all the talk from people saying, oh, we've gone backwards. We've got, it's bad enough with the transfer window. We're not signing this player, blah, blah, blah. We've lost this player. There's even comments of like, oh, we've lost half our squad.
People jump on it so quickly, don't they?
Yeah. You just know that people are going to say we've made a step backwards. But I've got the faith that I don't think we'll finish at that low. I think we've got a good enough manager to equal last year, at best, worst, however you want to describe it. But yeah, that's kind of the idea of the question anyway.
I don't think it's been a bad window. We always knew Hudson was going. We always knew that Kirkes was going. Mark Travers, bit of a surprise, but we've got an abundance of goalkeepers. In all honesty, I don't think it's a bad thing. And for my penny's worth, I think that we've got to get Europe, because we have got, you look at the players there, Evan Nielsen, he will want European football sooner rather than later. Justin Kluivert, he'll want European football sooner rather than later. Zabaniev, if we keep him, he's going to want European football. And Andoni Iraola himself is going to want European football. So it's more of a necessity than it is, a want. Can we compete? Yes. Do we need to get European football? Yes, if we want to keep who we've got in place at the moment. But there we are. That is, our thought process. So thank you to everybody here, and of course Malcolm as well, who's just had to drop off for the moment. But let's talk about what is coming up on this channel. And of course we have got our regular show, Cherry AM, which we are doing every single weekday, and we're going to be doing this throughout the season as well. A great community that is formed on there. If you do watch our shows on Instagram, please come onto the YouTube channel. We do show pretty much every comment on the screen, which is, of course, sensible. So please, please, please do come join us for some Cherry AM. It's been a really successful show, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as we go through the season, with lots of raw views, I'm sure. And you can get involved as well. We've also got the Dean Court Social, which is our preview show. So we're mixing up the opposition preview shows this year. Yes, we will still have the celebrity guests as and when they come, but me and Matt will do a more in-depth and a more Bournemouth-focused opposition show moving forward. So it's not going to be an opposition preview show. It's going to be more a look to what we're going to do, just with a touch of what the opposition think about us. And we've also got Cherry Slaps. Look at his face there. And it is Mr. Ollie Hudson, who is going to be doing our new match reaction show every Monday after a game. Ollie is going to be talking to you, the guests. You can get involved. You can talk to Ollie, and you can give your honest opinion. So get involved with Cherry Slaps. And give your thoughts on the latest match. There we are. Ollie, do you want to give a little bit more on Cherry Slaps and what to expect?
Yeah, sure. So it's going to be a Monday or Tuesday, depending on when the game is played, because sometimes we know it could be a Monday evening. It's going to be probably 7 or 8 p.m. onwards. The first load of special guests are already organised, ready for these Monday nights. So, for example, first weekend we've got Liverpool. I've got a Liverpool guest on. When we play Newcastle, I've got Newcastle guests on, and so on. They will be my main special guests for the show. And then we get the phone-ins, we get the community involved, we get the chat going. Anyone who wants to appear, they can. But it's it's going to be explosive Monday nights, getting the live reaction from fans from all sorts.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. And we better do guest Cherry and reveal that as well.
We had better do that, hadn't we?
So let me run through the clues. So he's born in Poole in the year 1993. So he's younger than me. He went to Litchfield Minister School. He came close to joining Portsmouth when the Cherries entered administration in 2008. The gaffer had to get permission off my school to allow me to travel with the first team. And he made 22 appearances for Bournemouth, scoring twice. Who is he? Who is he? Any guesses?
I know. Would you like me to guess, or should I let everyone else guess first?
I tell you what, Sean, you guess first.
I can't guess, to be honest. The funny thing is, looking at those bits of information, I do remember that. I remember this player with the school thing and that. I didn't get permission. I remember it was in the Echo and that. So I do remember this player, but for the life of me, I just can't work out the name of the player.
Go on, Ollie.
Go on.
Yeah, so I actually went to Poole Grammar School for a small stint and played with them before I went and had a very small stint at the community side of Bournemouth. And this is Jaden Stockley. Played with him a number of times in school. In year 11 versus their year 11 at Litchfield Minster. Then played with him a couple of times at Bournemouth. And then a couple of times at Wimborne Town. A lovely lad, absolutely lovely lad.
Excellent. There we are. Give yourself a point for the new season if you've guessed Jaden Stockley. But guys, it has been an absolute pleasure. So Sean, great to have you with us for your first cherry picking. No doubt you'll be back, won't you?
Yeah, can't keep me away.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You know, you're part of the furniture now, so don't worry. Somebody who has become part of the furniture is Mr. Ollie Hudson. How you doing, mate? All good?
Yeah, good. Yeah, very well.
I'll tell you what, it's been a tiring week, but we've got to the end of it pretty much. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, tonight's been great. Yeah, really good cherry picking. I think this is my third cherry picking now. So yeah, always glad to be on the panel as such. So yeah, whenever the next one's up, by all means, give me an invite.
So
Definitely.
no more 2:30 games.
Yeah, no. That's the last time I try and go through 2 a.m. technical issues in the dark so that I don't wake anyone up, while trying to message you guys and make sure I don't miss the Bournemouth game that I've waited all night for. It was a pretty stressful and chaotic moment in my house, to be fair, but.
No, that's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. Mr. Matthew Harrison, always good, isn't it? To do a cherry picking. It's been another good one to kick off the new season.
Yeah, and I'll be back next week with 2 more guests for next week's cherry picking.
Yes. Keep your eyes peeled. I've got the week off of cherry picking, so you won't see my dulcet tones. Therefore, a lot more of you will probably be watching. But until next one, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next show. Up the cherries!
Up the cherries.
Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the Talksport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search Talksport Fan Network.